This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Well, good morning and welcome to the Grow Omaha Show. Jeff Beals here at your service. We are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center with 4 metro area locations and D&M Roofing, Omaha's premier commercial and residential roofing contractor. This is the only show in the metro area that focuses on the growth and development of said metro area. And without any further ado, it's time to bring on my good friend and radio show partner, the legendary real estate deal maker himself, Trenton Magid.
Good, beautiful morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Trenton, and happy 4th of July to you.
It's not only 4th of July weekend, it is a historic weekend in Omaha, something that all Omahans and visitors should be proud of and partake in.
What's that?
The Downtown Riverfront Park.
Yes, and we are going to talk about that today because that was an amazing opening last night. And before we do that, though, let's bring on our good friend and member of the Grow Omaha team, Brad Williams. Good morning, Brad.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Great to have you. Thanks for covering the recording duties as well.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, Brad's got double duties because normally our videographer Amy Polanco is busy this weekend, so Brad's doing that and co-hosting the show. You're just a man of many talents.
Hit record and then come jump in the chair.
Not everyone can do it.
Actually, the one camera's cool because I run it from my phone, so I don't even have to run.
That's right.
So he's paying attention, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
He's just working on the cameras as well. If you see the video this week after this show.
Yeah, and if you ever want to see one of the videos of our show, just go to growomaha.com, click on shows, and you can see a video of the show. You can see video highlights when we chop it up into sections, or what a lot of people enjoy watching is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can hear all of the things that we talk about, some of which we probably shouldn't during the commercial breaks.
And if you call me to buy a piece of real estate or lease a building or whatever, if you mention that you saw that you sign up on if you, what do they call it on YouTube?
Oh yeah,
when you follow the show or
Subscribe.
Subscribe. That's right. See how technical I am, Brad.
Yeah.
Thank you. You get $5 off your next real estate purchase.
You know, you like to say that, but do you ever actually follow through and like pay attention to where people heard about you and give the $5?
I don't get it because people don't even ask. You'd think they would.
Oh, okay.
What if they subscribe to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and the newsletter?
$7.
All right, perfect.
$7.
Because we have all of those.
We do have all of those, yeah. And, of course, Brad, people know Brad. He's a renowned photographer and videographer, Brad Williams Photography, also with E&A Consulting Firm, civil engineering firm of great reputation here in the Omaha area. Gentlemen, before we get into the news, the College World Series wrapped up at Sunday after our last week's show. Feels like it was a long time ago, but that was another hit, another baseball analogy. Omaha knocked it out of the park. It was a great series.
I went to 3 games, and 2 of them were air-conditioned skyboxes. Thank you for those gracious hosts.
Yeah,
and one was out with the commoners, and it was a great experience all the way around. And I was amazed at how lively outside the park was, and it always is, but it just everything was in sync last night. And then coming off that and then into what's happening downtown this weekend, we're lucky to be in Omaha.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere, and I think changing the date back to having the championship start on Saturday really helped the atmosphere of the championship series.
Yes, absolutely. That was a great move, getting rid of that old format, compacting it a little bit more. It always seemed weird to me when Saturday was a nothing. You know, the most important day of the week when it was a nothing and the old format was a problem.
And I also thought when it started on a Friday, there was kind of a big vibe of a long 3-day weekend, people really getting up for it. And, you know, when they started on Saturday, it kind of lost some of that, I felt like.
Totally agree.
And that was Brad Williams up in that black helicopter circling the stadium. What night was that?
Sunday night, Father's Day.
Okay, and so where can people see those pictures? Brad Williams. Brad Williams.
No, they're not on my website yet, but they're on my Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
And then we have some of them on the Grow Omaha Facebook
Yeah, I think
page.
I shared them on there.
Yeah. Well, let's go into the news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Goodness gracious, do they know mortgages? They've known mortgages for more than 30 years, and it doesn't matter whether you're looking at an FHA, a VA, or, of course, a conventional loan. Their mortgage brokers will work with you, provide you with great service, listen to what you want to accomplish, and come up with the best solution for you that they possibly can. And we always tell people this does not change, even though we've gone into a higher interest rates environment and the housing market is not quite as obnoxious and ridiculous as it was a year ago. You still want that pre-approval letter from Eagle Mortgage. And so give them a call. We're not going to give you the phone number over the radio because no one remembers those. Instead, just go to either eaglemortgagecompany.com or stop in their office at 114th in Davenport, just south of 114th in Dodge. All right, guys, so we kind of hinted about this a little bit. The Gene Leahy Mall opened last night or yesterday officially. Brad, you and I both had the opportunity to go down there.
I went around it.
You drove around it because you wanted to kind of take, you are kind of the guy that sits in the skybox in the College World Series.
Closest thing I could get to a skybox.
You don't get out in the new mall. You just kind of, in fact, I'm surprised, in all honesty.
I opened my windows.
You didn't take a helicopter like Brad sometimes does.
Yeah.
But anyway, Brad, you were there. You were shooting photos of the event. I had high expectations for the Gene Leahy Mall. It exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, they thought of every little detail there, and it was perfect. Everything came together, and I think everyone had a great time. I was there for about 5 hours yesterday walking around, and you could just overhear people's comments, how positive they were and how surprised they were about the different features, and everyone really seemed to enjoy it down there.
Go ahead, Trent.
We should give a huge kudos to all the stakeholders, led by Mayor Stothler, the City Council, the Planning Department, Mecca, Roger Dixon, all the people. I'm going to leave people out, but Moens By, Ken Stinson, Rodrigo Lopez, all the people, and you know who you are, and even the volunteers and the staff of Mecca and the Omaha Police Department. It was a total group effort, and just the citizens of Omaha to support this thing. It is a total game changer. It takes us so far compared to what was down there, and we're going to come next year. What the Science Center, the Keywood Illuminarium,
and the Heartland of America, and the Lewis and Clark Park all together. Yeah.
And we should all be proud of ourselves. We do what we can for the last 18 and a half years and counting to promote Omaha, and we point out when we need help and we need to improve our city. But this is a time for celebration and a group pat on the back, and it was amazing how all different types of people and groups have supported this, and now it's time to enjoy it.
Okay, a couple observations about the park last night that I had, and then Brad, since you were there, I'm going to have you jump in on this. Okay, the concert setup is fantastic. The stage is right on the east end of this big, huge lawn. The sound system, high quality, very, very good. Next thing I noticed, the light show. The light show was projected on the north and the west side of the historic Burlington building. There's also an amazing video board underneath the 10th Street Bridge, matched to music, very, very impressive. And then, hold on, I'm going to send it over to you, Brad, here in a second. The other thing I want to mention that really stood out to me is the difference between a managed and programmed park and a normal park. One of the smartest things our decision makers did with this Gene Leahy Mall was have Mecca be in charge of it, because there was security. There were workers from Mecca organizing things. During the concert, people were going around and picking up litter. It's a huge difference when a park is managed by an organization that knows how to put on big events.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of concerts and events at the CHI Health Center, and then also been covering the College World Series for the last 11 years. And this was run exactly like a College World Series game or a concert or a big event at the arena. I mean, it was the people, they all had their jobs. They knew what they were doing. I mean, everything just flowed and ran really smooth. As far as the light...
Even the weather participated.
Yeah, it did. The one thing at the light show that I don't know if people really noticed, or at least for the light show, I went up on the roof of the Holland, so I was looking down on the park. But besides having the projection on the Burlington building and on the stage, and then having the video board under the bridge, all the trees in the park had color changing LED lights. and they changed to go with, when there was an American flag up on the stage on the Burlington building, all the trees in the park turned red, white, and blue. When they had another thing where it was like these graphics that were like purple and yellow, all the trees in the park turned purple and yellow. It was really quite a neat thing to see from further back where you can take in the whole park.
Well, and the coordination with the sound system was amazing also. In fact, I said to my wife Stephanie last night when the announcer was talking about getting ready for the lights show where they put all the projections on the Burlington building and all that, I thought I was in Epcot. I mean, it had the big sound system with the big voice and all that. I mean, it was I can't state how cool it was. Now, the question I have, and I don't know if I've seen this anywhere, is Mecca going to run that light show or something like it every night?
I asked last night, and the guy that I was working with, he did not know, but I sure hope they do. Like Trenton said, the Bellagio, where it's like every hour. Or
like every night at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, like if you're downtown, like, let's go see it because, it's probably only a few minutes long. I don't know. I can't say enough how cool it was.
And I challenge everybody. I think, yes, they have staff picking up trash. Yes, they run it like a great concert or anything else, and Mecca does a great job, but we all have to do our part. So if just because you didn't litter, if somebody else did or something's blowing around or whatever, don't be afraid to pick it up and put it in a trash bin. Let's all own this thing. We all own it, but let's all act like we own it.
And leave your Sharpies at home.
Yeah, no graffiti.
And leave your spray paint at home.
You don't need to sign anything there, especially the artwork.
Yeah.
The artwork was already completed before they opened the park.
By the way, the artwork is impressive.
The artwork is very impressive. I don't know whose idea it was to stick a video board on the under part of a bridge. But, I mean, you talk about that always just seemed like a dark cave and just, like, all right, let's hurry up and get through this bridge because it's dark and boring. And that turned from one of the worst parts of the park to probably one of the best parts of the park.
It might be the best. I mean, It was absolute genius. And when you're down there, and for folks that haven't been down there yet, you picture where the old slides are. The slides are still there. They've added more slides, but they've put like field turf or AstroTurf in part of that area. Really cool. And then to the north of that, where it used to be Sunken Lagoon, there's now these tiered stone things with water in them, and the kids can play in those. Then you go down to where there is still some of the old lagoon, and then under the 10th Street Bridge where these lights are, it literally will knock your socks off when you see it after dark, how cool and how bright it is as well.
That whole sidewalk last night was lined with people taking selfies in front of the video wall. It's pretty cool.
Now one thing that amuses me whenever I go to a concert, and last night with Kristen Chenoweth was no exception. Okay. There have got to be 40% of the people there who are videoing the whole thing. They're not just enjoying the show. They're so obsessed with videoing the damn thing. And we know that of the 40% who videoed the entire concert, 99% of them will never watch that video again in their life.
But Omaha will get another data center because of it for all the storage.
Anyway, it always cracks me up when you see people like videoing everything like, put your phone down and just enjoy the show. At any rate,
you can watch somebody else's footage if you really want to watch it.
Goodness gracious, it's well documented. I prefer to depend on the professionals like Brad to bring me my photos and my videos. All right, a couple other news items though that we do want to mention. First of all, you're going to see an old new brand name around Omaha. Anderson Convenience Market, which has 8 locations, has been associated with BP for a long time. They are switching over to Amoco, quality Amoco fuels. So remember, Amoco was a great brand for a long time, kind of went away, coming back. And the Anderson Convenience Market at 180th and Arbor, just north of 180th and Center, first one to bring back the Amoco. Looks cool.
Absolutely. Excited for all the Ray Andersons that are out there. There's a few of them. And very excited for Omaha. I grew up, originally it was the Standard Station on 90th and Center, which was an Anderson family gas station. My dad always still called it Standard Station just a few years ago. And but the Amoco, the logo is updated. It's futuristic. And it's such an iconic brand. Very excited. So all the Anderson food marts will change to the Amoco brand of gasoline.
The Hello Apartments have opened at 1200 North 12th Street. That's in Millwork Commons, part of North Downtown. Okay, it's 5-story, 220,000 square foot building immediately east of the Mastercraft building. The Hello Apartments have about 370 apartments. The ground floor has several commercial bays for lease. There's one bay among many on the west side that already has a tenant. It's a sunglass design studio where you go by appointment. Looks like it's pretty customized and premium. The commercial space on the building's south side is being marketed to restaurant tenants. It opens up on the south side of that little miniature park. Brad, you've done some video footage of that in some Grow Omaha construction
we've covered it
videos.
a couple times. It's a cool little park. I don't even know if I'd classify it as mini. I mean, maybe it is technically, but it feels like
it's
big
a block.
Park.
Yeah.
It's a pocket park.
It's a block. It's like
it has a skateboard park and a basketball hoop and picnic tables. It's a really neat place.
If it's a mini park, they put a lot in a small amount of
They
space.
sure did.
So anyway, that looks really cool. Okay, guys, let's take our first break of the hour. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some City of Omaha moves. The city has hired a company to demo the W. Dale Clark Library. We made progress with the streetcar this week. Trenton's going to make a major announcement about 2 upscale restaurants in West Omaha. A lot of stuff to talk about. You're listening to Jeff Beals, Trenton Magid, and Brad Williams on Grow Omaha. We're brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. And we'll be back right after this on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Speaking of DM roofing, some guy knocked on my door the other day, and I said, I opened the door, and he said, "Don't worry, I'm not a roofer." God, no kidding.
What was he?
Car repairman, car dent repairman.
You saw your car?
Instead, I'm selling $5 Reese's peanut butter cups for the children.
1965.
So when I was leaving at 15th and Farnham, when I was living downtown,
That's
there's a guy
Let's get
when I was leaving the old market.
Oh, I thought you said when I was living downtown.
Yeah, you don't know anything?
I'm like, I've known you for 40 years. I don't remember you living downtown.
My other family.
He stayed at the Marriott one night.
Yeah. This guy was riding 2 of those Lime scooters at the time. Like I think he was working for Lime or whatever. He literally was going out and he had one leg on each, one arm and one leg on each scooter. I was like, that is the strangest thing.
If I did that, I'd end up doing this.
You get further and further and further until eventually your ass falls on the concrete.
And he made a turn and everything. It was pretty impressive.
There was this woman at the park last night who had these lit up things on strings, and she was doing these.
Was she selling them or just doing them?
No, she was just kind of putting on a show for people. She was kind of like a new age baton twirler.
Have you guys seen the synchronized drones? Instead of fireworks, they do they'll have like 400 drones and make it look like fireworks and lights and everything. It's the coolest thing.
Ted, the guy from JM that does all the local fireworks shows in Omaha,
Okay.
he'll be doing one on Monday. The last one, Manawa does also. He started a new company that does that.
It's unbelievable, the technology. To program those things.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
If there's like one drone that miscues, I mean they have to keep. I mean it's like the Thunderbirds or something. They got to be coordinated.
Increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy.
They were down somewhere down in Missouri or somewhere testing them a week or 2 ago.
Of your bowel wall. If you're allergic
just
to
set those things up and have them all-
problems or worsening of painful
Well, I think
swollen joints, call your
put them all out
doctor
on like a
today.
2 foot by 2 foot grid,
Symptoms or allergic
a big
reactions.
flat
Yeah.
parking lot, and
As
they
directed
all.
by your doctor and always with
That's
food.
crazy.
Do not chew capsules as this may cause
Check the battery.
constipation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough.
I don't know what drones are like now, but I've never had one. A buddy of mine has one, and the batteries don't last too long.
Visit Creon.com
On the drones?
or call
Yeah.
800-633-9110 to learn more.
So we'll talk about, okay, I think we're going to open with the Mahogany Prime and Charleston's. And then we'll do,
Are they both in the? They're in 2 different parts. No, are they both?
they might be separate. Charleston's might be in First National, and Mahogany's probably in Bank of the West, yeah.
What's that?
137th Street. They're both right along 137th Street.
I would agree that.
Does your commercial
Yeah.
roofing company?
Isn't that 137th Street separates the 2 parts?
Find us online at
Yeah. But that's going to be really cool. All right.
From local and national news to podcasts and videos from our hosts. Connect with News Radio 1110 KFAB on Facebook.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid at your service here. We are joined today by our friend Brad Williams of Brad Williams Photography and E&A Consulting. Of course, the show is brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. And I tell you what, if you ever have to get a little bit of body work done, you have a little bit of a fender bender or an accident, you have 4 Dingman's locations to choose from. I know I have personally used them to work on my car after an unfortunate incident, and they made it look just like it was brand new. They also have mechanical services. 4 metro area locations. Those locations, Trenton, we got one at about 144th and Industrial. We've got one at
120th and West Maple Road, where also the mechanical shop is. You've got Papillion on South 84th Street.
And Saddle Creek.
And you got Saddle Creek near Center.
Just south of the Med Center. All right, guys, we've got some breaking restaurant news that we're going to share with everyone. And Trenton, we're going to have you do this.
Yeah, very exciting. I was talking to my friend Chip James with Lockwood Development, and he's leading the group. That they've got about 8 acres right across. It's in Heartwood Preserve, which is right across from just south of Dodge and right across from the Boys Town post offices. They're grading the heck out of that and putting in the infrastructure. And that is where both Hal Smith Concepts, everybody loves them, Omaha Prime, or Mahogany Restaurant, and Charleston's is going to move when they build the new buildings. And then he led the group also that is buying the existing 2 at the business parks along Dodge Street. So those are going to be available for a couple new cool concepts.
So both Mahogany Prime and Charleston's will be moving next year into newly constructed buildings, 144th Street, south of the brand new Carson building and Union Bank buildings. And then new tenants will be coming to the old ones. And I understand that...
they got some time left because they got to build the new buildings and everything.
And I understand that the plan is to renovate the old Charleston so it looks substantially different.
Yep.
Okay, so that's cool stuff. And another catch for Heartwood Preserve.
And you told me that Mahogany is actually, if you go to a Mahogany in other locations, they're really like fancy. I mean, like a step up from the one we have here.
Yes. I went to one of, so Mahogany is, there's only a couple other locations. They're all in the state of Oklahoma. And I went to one in December in Oklahoma City, and you could tell it was built to be a Mahogany. Like our Mahogany is great. It's one of the best steakhouses anywhere in a multi-state region. It'll be even better. Like the bar will be a step up. It'll be designed for a Mahogany as opposed to in the Omaha situation where Mahogany went into Red Rock Canyon.
Yeah, and what was I think the challenge with that was everybody ordered the cheapest thing on the menu, which was the chicken.
Oh, they did?
Remember they had that like roasted chicken or something?
Oh, I don't remember that. I just remember it was a cool restaurant, and it was owned by the same Hal Smith restaurant group that has Mahogany and Charleston. But so anyway, that's a nice big piece of news in the restaurant world. And speaking of the restaurant world, yesterday, or rather Thursday, Brad and I had the opportunity to go to the brand new Bawarchi Biryani restaurant. It is at 179th and Pacific. It is absolutely outstanding. It's actually a chain of Indian restaurants. There are 45 or 50 of them around the country. Closest ones previous to this opening were in the Kansas City area and also Des Moines, Iowa. But Brad, this Bawarchi place, very, very good.
Yeah, it was great. We tried several different items, and I liked every one of them.
Yeah, we had the chicken korma.
Jeff got to cut the ribbon.
I did cut the ribbon. Yeah, we had the chicken korma. We had the butter chicken. We had a vegetarian dish that was great. Couple appetizers. So strongly recommend you check out Bawarchi. Really, really.
Jeff
good
is
place.
available for ribbon cuttings and children's birthday parties, ladies and gentlemen.
Or at least the ribbon cuttings part.
There's a picture of the ribbon cutting on our Facebook page if you want to see how good he is at cutting that ribbon.
Yeah, I had Trenton was making fun of me because I wasn't smiling, but that's just because I was concentrating on my duties, making sure I was doing a good job.
You'd hate for it to be like one of those cuts that doesn't cut all the way through.
Yeah.
You got to do a retake.
Okay, can I make a confession? That's exactly what happened. So I hit the scissors.
That was the look.
I hit the scissors, and instead of the ribbon severing, one side of the ribbon just came off. But then I did complete the job. I grabbed the ribbon and just cut really hard, and because I am not a person that leaves things half-assed.
And that explains why there wasn't a video, just a still photo.
Well, we only asked Brad to take stills, so at any rate,
Can't afford the video.
So with that, we have a couple other big things we want to talk about that went down this week. First of all, the city of Omaha has hired Cox Contracting Company out of Council Bluffs, about $678,000 deal to tear down the W. Dale Clark Library. Of course, the W. Dale Clark Library is moving its public-facing services to 1401 Jones. It's back-of-house stuff to 84th and Frederick Street. But guys, this is a big move. We got to get rid of the W. Dale Clark.
This is a different. This isn't Cox Enterprises, right?
Before we can have our $600 million skyscraper.
This is different than Cox Communications, Cox Cable, that kind of stuff. It's a different company, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think Cox Communications in the
because one time I didn't pay my cable bill and they threatened to cut off my Cox. I was really upset.
Kaboom. At any rate, so that is moving forward. And there was something else that happened this week that also has a huge role in making the new skyscraper happen, and that is the Omaha City Council approved a redevelopment agreement that allows the urban streetcar system.
It's the urban streetcar?
To use up to $354 million in tax increment financing. It's my understanding that this was one of the last big hurdles that stood in the way of Mutual of Omaha moving forward with the tower.
And if I understand it correctly, that big money, basically it comes from several different projects within a couple miles of the streetcar, right? That tax increment financing is generated by projects, and when they get TIF on those projects, like 25% of that tax revenue will come to fund the streetcar, correct?
Yeah, in my opinion, it was a brilliant move because this way you don't have to wait around on the feds and all of their ridiculous red tape and delays. We can move forward. We can do it locally, do it Omaha style, and get this thing moving. So
literally and figuratively.
Good. I liked what you did there.
Yeah.
Anyway, very, very cool move and definitely a step in the right direction. Okay, a couple other quick things that we might want to mention. Also, local company, Syme Johnson. I actually use them. They're my CPAs for my company.
Not anymore.
Well, they still are. It's just that they're joining Eide Bailly. And Eide Bailly is one of the top 25 accounting and business advisory firms in the nation. And you're seeing this a lot with a lot of accounting firms. You're seeing it with insurance and employee benefit firms. That you get a strong local and they're saying, hey, we can sign up with one of these very large nationals that wants to have a presence in every market. And then you still have the local people running it, but then they give you access to more of a national platform. And it looks like Syme Johnson is doing that in the accounting world.
Well, Eide Bailly's taking on a lot more accountability.
How so?
It was a play on words.
Okay.
Accountability.
I was expecting to talk about how they're accountable and all this sort of thing.
It's a tough crowd out there, ladies and gentlemen.
And with that, we're going to take our middle of the show break. You are listening to Trenton Magid, Jeff Beals, and Brad Williams on Grow Omaha. We're brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. We'll be back after the news on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
We can't help the price of milk, but we
They're taking more accountability.
is inflation-free.
I figured there had to be something when you were just dead silent looking at it.
Now you get it. Yeah, but I thought a national firm is taking on more accounting firms, so they're taking on more accountability. Yeah, that was a good one. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Check out.
I can cuss during the Uncut.
I wouldn't put that in your top 100.
That's fine. Yeah. Well, with all the great ones I've had.
Yeah.
Probably not in my top 150.
Probably not in your top 1,000. I mean, because, and in fairness to you, you have had a lot of great ones. That wasn't one of them, but you have had a lot of great ones.
We should have the Trenton Magid blooper reel.
The best. The best was when Chris put that one where we.
Listen to
I'm watching TV.
Okay, we're gonna do this after the break. You on it? I'm on it. Okay.
audio entertainment.
My sister Casey and I just watched that like 10 times. She loves it.
So the clip shows me not you saying that and then me not paying
Have you ever seen
attention.
it? Have you ever seen it?
Do you have it on your phone?
It's on our Facebook page. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, you'll see it again. Let's watch it again. You can never see it too much.
risk of cyber attacks. When liberals attack
Okay, I'll pull it up. It's down there a ways. It's from a couple months ago.
Americans and Main Street businesses.
American jobs, American...
Jeff is like my historian. Like, oh, remember that time in 9th grade when you did this?
And he doesn't remember.
Senate conservatives support
Okay, bro.
This gluten.
American innovation.
Super Bowl, or Superdome tour. 19...
I still want to know if the dome is if the dome is floating.
After all you did, she didn't take your question seriously.
What's the red button for now?
Dump.
Oh,
If Roger's sleeping and we have to dump something,
then they can do it.
there's a 12-second delay, right?
20.
This is a 20-second?
We don't trust our listeners.
It doesn't come out to the air for 20 seconds?
Yes.
We don't trust our listeners who call in, or the hosts.
Well, when you have it set at 20, it means if somebody says something and you dump them, you'll catch them. But if you don't get them potted down and they...
So there's 20 seconds of radio silence on the air then?
No.
You're 20
Just when
seconds
you're
behind,
listening on the...
and it catches up.
Yeah,
Okay, so, okay.
it's like a skip.
Fox News, I'm
All right, here it is.
Some
All right.
weather's in store for
We gotta
Carolina
enjoy this, fellas.
beachgoers this holiday weekend.
South Carolina, North Carolina, right on the coast. There is a bit of a surprise tropical storm that popped up there. Name is Colin. You're going to deal with this for about 2 days as it moves up the shore. If you have plans along that coastline, the city of North Carolina, stand Fox Chief Meteorologist. Thanks to inflation, the Farm Bureau tells us that this year about about 17% more overall.
I'll mention that. Okay, I'll say like that. England's Collision Center, and you come back and say not just body work. You take sing under it and jump on that. We'll do that as soon as we come back.
And welcome back to the show, Pro Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center.
Thanks, Jeff, for that segue. Sorry, I was watching the news. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a visual.
You're going to talk about Dingman's Collision Center.
Let's watch it again.
Not just body work.
How many
When we
views
talk
is
about
that?
things, we talk about their mechanical as well.
Okay.
I'm telling you what I'm going to do.
I'll say like that. England's Collision Center, and you come back and say not just body work. You take sing under it and jump on that. We'll do that as soon as we come back.
And welcome back to the show, Pro Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center.
Part of the skillet.
Oh, thanks, Jeff, for that segue. Sorry, I was watching the news up here on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a visual. It's not just body work, Jeff. They're not responsible for my body, thank God. But basically,
But you know what they can do to your body?
oh my God, it'd be unbelievable. First, they have to shave me down. But then, a few years ago, Stephen's family, they got into it.
Can you link that? Can you send me the link?
20th and Maple. They've got an entire building that's dedicated just to mechanical work. So
Can you send it to yourself on the Facebook page? Because that's the only place I have it is on the Facebook page.
Down here, work and very responsive.
Of course, they
and
have to shave
lay it out
my
for
body.
you, your insurance company. So definitely check out Dingman's, not just for your body work, but also for your car's mechanical.
I think I'll copy the clipboard, so now just text it to yourself.
Subscribe buttons. And remember,
Just go to text messages and hit paste.
this is a
Here.
1 minute.
I don't know what to do with it.
Omaha and make it an even better.
I don't know what the hell to do with
I
it.
don't know how to use Android.
Oh, okay.
Go to act like you're gonna text Trent.
Okay.
And I can't send videos to him that I
If
can
you guys are
send
being
you.
mean to Android, I'm not sending it to you. Okay,
So you
so
have to shave me down.
share.
Oh, let's say I copied the link to your clipboard.
No, you don't have to do
Oh,
share.
send in Messenger.
That's fine.
I can
No,
do
then
that.
I can't fucking get it.
Wait, picky?
Yeah.
Okay.
The biggest challenge of returning vet faces is getting back to everyday life. And the key to that is
Okay, it's on your way.
Alright, then I take from that. That's fine.
Yeah, because you'll be able to at least see it.
Yeah.
You'll be able to at least see it.
Go for it.
veterans and their families.
Everybody picks on my Android. I can't even I'm thinking about having to move out of my own home because my family members are
Why
so
don't you
mean to me.
just get a BlackBerry?
I hate
here we
that
go.
stuff. I like my Android.
Listen to News Radio 1110 KFAB. Radio.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals at your service from NAI NP Dodge. commercial real estate company, sitting next to Trenton Magid and Brad Williams. This show is brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. So if you make a decision, any decisions for commercial buildings, one of the most important things you have to think about, worry about, prepare for are roof issues. And that's why D&M Roofing has a one-of-a-kind preventative maintenance program for commercial buildings. If you're a property manager, if you're an owner, call them and see what you can do to get a part of this deal, because it has saved a lot of companies a lot of money. And you can find them online at dndmroofing.com.
I was talking to Eric Obremt, who owns D&M Roofing, and he was saying that big commercial properties and residential right now, they do the hail dance. When that hailstorm a few weeks ago, they are getting entire roofs paid for. People that have old roofs, because of this hail event, they're able to work with the building owners, with the homeowners, work with the insurance companies, and get them new roofs for little to nothing.
Yeah, it's good to get. If you have any questions at all about any of that, just go to dndmroofing.com. You can connect through the website. The phone number's on there, and they'll take good care of you. All right, Trenton, let's go into our commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, which is brought to you by Noddle Companies, noddlecompanies.com. Omaha-based real estate developer, been in the business for a long time, work in multiple states. In fact, we're going to focus a little bit we're going to go back down memory lane and talk about a little bit of history development today.
Absolutely. So Noddle Companies, you see Jay Noddle, who volunteers for a lot of things with the Urban Core Committee and the streetcar and everything else. But starting with his father, Harlan Noddle, Jay Noddle, and now Sam Noddle, his son, 3 generations. This goes back even before this, but the Gallup campus, Jay Noddle was instrumental on. Even goes back to the Landmark building where the Farnham Hotel is, and that great restaurant is in there. That's the old Beta West building right across from the park, right next to the park. But just to rattle off a few of these developments, One Pacific Place was a Noddle project. The FBI building near 120th and L Street, the Gallup campus, the National Park Service building nearby, the First National Business Park, and the Commercial Federal Business Park, which is now the Bank of the West Business Park, and the list goes on and on. And the River's Edge in Council Bluffs.
Current one.
Yeah, absolutely. So Noddle Companies, they're doing the Builders District with Kiewit, the Kiewit campus down there. And so it's pretty impressive that Noddle Companies has really grown Omaha more so than most people, that's for sure. The new Valmont building out at Heartwood Preserve is one of them. So
and soon to come, Block 180 at 180th and West Dodge Road.
That's just a taste of. So if you wonder why you hear the name Noddle around Omaha, it's because they're a heck of a stakeholder.
And that is your commercial real estate development spotlight, brought to you by Noddle Companies, noddlecompanies.com. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about some news that we broke this week in our big story on the Grow Omaha Weekly Market Report. And that is a report about 5 new tenants coming to Midtown Crossing. Midtown Crossing, of course, a 16-acre mixed-use campus directly east of Mutual of Omaha's current headquarters. Doing really well. A couple things there. Number one, the offices at Turner Park have opened. Basically, ownership has taken the north building, and the commercial space on that north building, about 19,000 square feet, have turned that into office space. And it's cool office space. One of the tenants that's going into that office space that's going to open in about 6 months is Visit Omaha, the city's official convention and visitors bureau. They are going into the part of it that's to the west side of that north building, so the former Cantina Laredo space. They're going to have 3,000 feet there. And one of the cool things is they've got this thing called a nano wall made out of glass that can open and close. And this nano wall will go to an indoor-outdoor patio. And they've retained the old fire feature that was on the patio of Cantina Laredo, if you can remember that.
Yep.
And so when they bring in guests who are thinking about having a convention in Omaha, they can entertain them on that patio. It overlooks Turner Park. So that's really cool. And then let me mention a few of the others.
Nano?
Yeah, and let me mention a few of the other tenants that are coming, and then we can talk about what this means. The first one is a restaurant by the name of Red Claw. It's going to open in October, and it's going to be on the south side of Farnham between Modern Love and Chase Bank. It'll serve Cajun dishes, seafood, boba tea.
Hey, my.
50% of it will be seafood. It's the same ownership as the Mai Tai restaurant in Exarban Village.
Come on, yeah.
The next one is Sofra, which is coming to the former Grey Plume space at 220 South 31st Avenue. Should be opening in the middle of July. European focus, plated brunch items, some American favorites like burgers, salads, soups, and breakfast items. Then the next one is going to be Chef Around the Block. This is going to be kind of almost like a chef restaurant incubator thing. Midtown Crossing refers to it as a pop-up shop designed to help support local chefs. So that's going to be pretty cool. And then the final one is Milan Laser Hair Removal, third Omaha area location. It'll be just west of Alamo Draft House. It'll open in the fourth quarter of this year. Milan, by the way, started in Papillion. It's owned by a couple of local Omaha physicians. Fast growing.
200 locations.
Yeah, just opened their 200th location. This Milan has gotten huge all over the country.
They want me to be the spokesperson
for laser hair removal.
for the before picture.
Well, and then maybe the after picture too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you would look quite different.
It's going to be a consortium of Milan locations.
And one last thing, Midtown Crossing is in final lease negotiations for a sixth tenant, a retail service provider. So they're on fire right now, and I think that's a good sign for the future of the downtown Midtown corridor when you're getting a lot of those types of tenants in there.
Well, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, if you see when the streetcar comes in it's 2024 or 26? 26. In 2026, and then it sounds like the campus, when they go and build their new tower, and then Lanahaw Development will take over the campus and redevelop that. So that'll be a success, and that streetcar coming will really help fulfill that.
All right. With that, we are going to take our final break of the hour. And when we come back, we are going to have the Turner Construction Lightning Round. I'm looking at restaurant news mostly. In fact, we're going to announce a lot of new restaurants at Village Point, some openings in Millwork Commons. And we'll talk about a few that have closed. So a lot to come. You're listening to Jeff Beals, Trenton Magid, and Brad Williams on Grow Omaha, and it's brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
So they'll be pretty close to full then. Yeah. Now they did just lose Culprit. Culprit just closed.
Never mind. Three culprits.
All three of them closed. Yeah. In fact, that's one of the things I've got on here.
What is one of those going into where Lead Belly was? Did you say? Or is it still?
I don't know because it just said.
I saw the Great Plume. You said Great Plume on the one.
Yeah, Great Plume on one. The other one is going to be between Chase and Modern Love, so that's way east of Lead Belly. Now, maybe Milan's going there because it just said Milan just said west of Alamo Draft House. I bet not.
It's not on.
Yeah.
If you're.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I went to Sauce by Alfaro yesterday for lunch.
I have been wanting to go there.
I met Joe Alfaro. Nice guy.
How good is it?
It was good. I had a steak bowl. I thought it was pretty good. They put kind of a sweeter sauce on it, which was unique to me, but I thought it was really good.
Because I have yet to try it. Everyone says it's so great. Now, did you eat in the bar next door? Is that how it works?
No, they had seating in there. It's right in the Old Town Pavilion.
Well, someone told me, though, most people who go there eat at
They have a huge patio in back.
Oh, nice.
Most
people eat at the bar because there's only a few tables.
Okay, but you
but I saw the pictures.
Is there a bar next door? I didn't.
It's a wine.
I think that's where most people
wine or something. Yeah,
I think that's where most people eat the sauce.
Twisted Vine?
Mm-hmm. I think you can actually order and they'll bring it over to the bar.
To the bar, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Really nice guy, though. I was driving by, I was going to go to a little real estate tour, and I saw that, and I'm like, hey, I got to try sauce.
Stacy Winters says that place is just like one of the greatest places in town, and everyone raves about it.
It's like almost every other restaurant that's on Omaha Food Lovers. I think Alfaro's is really done, and that's their only location, he said. And they came from where? They came from Louisville, yeah.
They were in downtown Louisville.
That's amazing when places can incubate in small town.
I photographed the ice cream shop in Louisville last week.
All right, here we go.
Really cool.
You got about 6 minutes.
Work with us, Roger.
6 minutes, fellas. So just jump in as appropriate.
I'm going to clarify the
From Live Radio
Cheddars.
KFAB's podcast. It's all right on your phone.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beal sitting next to Trenton Magid and Brad Williams. And this is your lightning round brought to you by Turner Construction. We love Turner Construction, doing great work here in the Omaha area. I don't care whether you're talking about the massive Sarpy County data center at Highway 50 and Cape Hart Road, or if you're talking about
the Chase Bank
build-outs.
at 80 at what is that, 78th and Dodge Street.
That one's looking real nice.
Yeah, it's where the clothier used to be, Ryan's.
Yeah, so that's going to be right there on the corner. Because the clothing store had moved a little further west, Jerry Ryan's, and so this is going in that corner space. And it's really cool that corner space has some exposed history.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. If you want to see a little Omaha history,
The Pepsi sign?
Go drive by and see the Pepsi sign, and then there's
a Bank Americard logo on there.
Yeah.
Before it was Visa, it was Bank Americard.
But when Jerry Ryan's moved in there too, I think they remodeled it, and I remember seeing the Pepsi sign, and they were remodeling again, and it's kinda
cool.
Yeah,
very cool. Anyway, so yeah, that's a Turner Construction project right there, and so we recommend them. It doesn't matter whether you're doing a small, medium, large, or absolutely massive project. Turner can do all that. One of the biggest construction firms on the planet, but yet here in Omaha, they behave and act and serve like a small local contractor, so they can do that all. And we appreciate them sponsoring Grow Omaha. All right, let's talk about some restaurants. Everyone loves to eat, especially us. Pepper Jack's Grill. They are opening along Highway 6 next to a new Fairway and Casey's in Gretna. And kind of a small building right there on the side of the street. I think it's Highway 6 in Bryan might be the cross street, if I remember correctly. Yep. All right, guys, let's talk about some new restaurants in Village Point. A lot of them. Last week we mentioned Cheddar's. Now we have some details about it. We know that it is going to be in a freestanding building to be constructed east of Firebirds, right along the south side of West Dodge Road. And so that'll be there. So you'll have Saltgrass, Firebirds, Cheddar's, boom, 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 all in a line there, visible from Dodge. But within Village Point, Ika Ramen is going to go into a 2,700 square foot bay vacated recently by Fuzzy's Tacos. And then down to the east side of the property in the former Pier 1 space, Ancho and Agave is going
Huge
in
restaurant.
There. Yeah, 10,800 square feet. And I looked up this Ancho and Agave, and there are a couple like Wisconsin or Illinois or something like that. Looks like it's a small chain, assuming it's the same one. I bet it is, because the ones I looked up were also in very large spaces. So good.
I don't know what they're going to do
Point.
with that much space.
I don't know, serve a lot of Ancho and Agave. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll have like entertainment or something like that.
Maybe it's like a build a piñata workshop for kids or something like that.
That would be fun. So let's talk about Millwork Commons. Sweet Magnolia's Bake Shop has opened about 2 weeks ago. They opened in the Ashton building. Brad, you know that Ashton building. They've got Archetype Coffee in there.
Cross Drain Brewery.
Yeah, they're right in that. So there's this middle area they call the dock. And Cross Drain opens to that. Archetype is in it. And Sweet Magnolia's opens to it. But still to come, Coneflower Creamery is going in on a corner bay there.
They need to go out west.
And Clean Slate, which is a grab-and-go healthy meal store from Lincoln, is going to go on the main floor there as well. All right. People don't want to wait forever in these crumble cookie lines. So the pressure relief valve is about ready to be sprung. And a second crumble cookie is opening on July 7th, 156th and Maple by the Hy-Vee there.
Rumor has it that this franchisee is making so much money in Omaha, they're going to buy a vowel.
Oh, so they can
put the E on the end of crumble.
So they can afford to have the full spelling of the word crumble. That's very good. The 8 by 14 foot statue of a steer that stood atop, I should say, Anthony's Steakhouse for about 50 years has moved. It is now at the T-Bone Truck Stop. Yeah. That's a great name for the T-Bone Truck Stop.
Very happy for our friend Tony Fuccinero, who sold that and donated the money to a charity that his son founded.
So I looked this place up, this T-Bone Truck Stop. It's just outside Columbus, Nebraska. And they have a huge, massive cowboy boot. So it's going to fit in just fine.
Nice.
And there's some pictures of I saw some pictures online of the steer being transported.
It'd be a tourist stop.
I wonder if they can take the trailer off the bottom of it. Remember, I always said that trailer.
Yeah,
it came with a trailer.
Comes with the trailer.
They put the trailer on a trailer.
Yeah,
when they moved it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
It must be part of the statue then. All right, let's talk about some closings. Guys, remember when we were kids, you would go to the Garden Cafe and it was the rage.
And it was good.
And it's now
and they were everywhere.
Gone. Yeah, that's the end of an era. I mean, back in the late 80s and the early 90s, I mean, the Garden Cafe, you had a hard time getting a table.
And how big that menu was and the fresh pastries and everything else like that.
Yeah, the last day for the last location in Rockbrook was yesterday. We've also lost Lighthouse Pizza in the Capital District. It was announced this week that Dario's here in Dundee is closing this fall. And then Culprit Cafe has closed all 3 of its locations. Guys, I'm convinced that we've been seeing this spate of restaurant closings lately. I think it's gas prices are driving a lot of it. Everyone says staffing. But some of these places, it might be gas prices.
It's interesting, though, for every restaurant that closes, there's 2 more openings.
Well,
so
and
there's a lot of just turnover.
We're starting a new initiative in our office with Maddie Grave and I, and in coordination with Rich Bartmettler, who's a contributor to this show, who has Bartmettler Consulting Group. We're going to create a database of restaurant spaces that are available.
That's a great idea, and we'll tap into that. So that's it for this week. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Magid.
And he is Brad Williams of Brad Williams Photography and E&A Consulting. It's been a great show. We're brought to you by D&M Roofing, NAI NP Dodge, Dingman's Collision Center, and Turner Construction. Whew, that's a lot of them. And we'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
That seemed like a long show comparatively. A little bit.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.